G'day everyone, Eric here. I think we all love Bumblebee. He's been around forever. Was constantly on the shelves till Beast Wars, and again since Classics in 2006. I'm sure we all have at least a dozen Bumblebee toys lying around the house by now, if not more. With so many toys, there's going to be some that are better than others.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Today, we're going to count down the top 10 best Bumblebee toys. There are only two rules. 1. No masterpiece toys. Reason being is that if you included them, nothing else would get a shot. They're also not really toys. So if you want to include them, just assume they're all so high up that they get into minus numbers. And number 2, Hasbro and officially licensed toys only. So no third party. With that said, let's begin. Let's start with an oddly renamed Bumblebee Redeco, throwing 30s Goldfire. Goldfire needs a bit of explanation since it's got a few things going on. The toy itself is a redeco of throwing 30s Bumblebee with a new head, while the character is a renamed Goldbug, Bumblebee's upgraded form from 1986, presumably because it's not a Volkswagen Beetle, but a fictionalized Ford Mustang. The body shape itself comes from IDW Bumblebee and is the basis for Evergreen Bumblebee, which in turn is the basis for Cyberverse and Earthspark Bumblebees. While the Throwing 30s Bumblebee toy is very nice, much better than anything that succeeded at using this design and successfully runs the 76 Camaro from the films through a G1 filter, Goldfire is just more interesting. The mix of the metallic gold plastic and the blues is striking, coming off as much more aggressive than the prior Bumblebee toy. I also think the modern muscle car Bumblebee better suits an upgraded form rather than base Bumblebee, as to me, the small car into the muscle car conveys character growth. I also like the face sculpt. I'm a big fan of toy Bumblebee over cartoon Bumblebee, and Goldfire takes both movie Bumblebee and toy Goldbug, then merges them. I think it works out pretty well. We stick with golden Bumblebee toys, and not for the last time on this list, with GoBots Bumblebee. The origins of the spy changes from Robots in Disguise and a redeco of the prior year's High Beams. This Bumblebee is a toy you'd assume to be a golden Lamborghini at first glance, but in reality is a concept car from Mattel's Hot Wheels called the Speed Blaster. The GoBots are very much in line with the old mini vehicles, so Bumblebee feels much more at home here than Soundwave or Optimus Prime, and like Megatron, the deco fits the character really well. It's just a nice little toy that looks cool. It's still clearly based on a Lamborghini after all. It's one of those offbeat redecos where a lot of things work about the toy to make it an interesting piece. The only thing that bothers me is, how have we not seen the Earthrise Sideswipe toy redecoed into the toys using the High Beam and Firecracker molds? I could use some more Sideswipes. Say what you want about the 2007 Transformers film, but it's one of the most important parts of the franchise, especially now. Only G1 really compares. Given what a success that film was, it's more definitively Transformers to a generation of people than even Armada was, and this includes the character depictions. This brings me to Studio Series 76 Camaro Bumblebee. The 76 Camaro just has so much more personality than the 2006 and later Camaros, with its boxy retro shape. It unironically fits into the G1 Autobot cars very well, and that's actually pretty novel. It also aligns with the age of the original Beetle alt mode, since it too is pretty old. Despite being a nearly 50-year-old car, it just oozes cool, and the yellow deco with the black stripes really pops. It's just an overall really pleasing car design. The movie robot designs, they are what they are, but the colour distribution on the 76 Camaro Bumblebee looks a lot better, with more black and grey to break up all the yellow. The face is probably the low point of the toy, it's Bayformers, but saying that, you need to acknowledge that the Bayformer designs have become iconic in their own right. They've been around for nearly 20 years now. I'm not one for replacing my toys with upgrades. I'd rather wait for redecos or something to make them feel different. I will make exceptions though, and Studio Series 86 Bumblebee is one of those exceptions. Clearly made to avoid copyright and be retooled into a variety of other toys, Studio Series 86 Bumblebee looks enough like a beetle to be dangerous, and is just a snazzy little Bumblebee. When I say little, I mean little. It's tiny, especially in vehicle mode, but it's compressing a lot of engineering. It does in parts form, and it has pinned wheels, the latter of which is a rarity in this day and age. There is a lot of budget being put in the right places, and it's all the better for it. Yes, it's small like its predecessor, but it's a vast improvement. Plus, it just looks great in both modes. I love the Penny Racer look from the original toy, and think the robot mode is spot on. I can't wait to get it at the end of the month. Not my favourite Bumblebee, it'd be much higher up if it was, but it's a well-designed toy that's easy to appreciate and much, much better than the last outing. We close out the back half of this list with a toy that became Japanese exclusive due to the cancellation of the cartoon and toy line it came from. The last series I got heavily invested into, Transformers Animated. My number 6 pick is Jetpack Bumblebee. Animated Bumblebee has an interesting history for toys. The initial deluxe was too big, meaning for many people, the Activator fills that space in their collection. The Activator is a nice little foot changer and nearly made the list, but the Japanese exclusive Jetpack Bumblebee is the perfect size and a more traditional Transformer. A precursor to the modern leader class toys, Jetpack Bumblebee is a small deluxe with accessories sold at the Voyager price point. His accessory is the aforementioned Jetpack, which his car can also use as a vehicle. Yes, a vehicle for your vehicle, but he can fly now. Also of note, unlike the deluxe Bumblebee, which used a faux roof for the chest, this toy uses part of the roof. That's an improvement. Unfortunately, due to Animated's cancellation, this toy was cancelled for Western markets where it would have been called Hydro Drive Bumblebee. Still cool if you can get your hands on the Japanese one though. So this is probably a hot take, but I hated Transformers Prime. I thought it was ugly and boring from the moment I first saw it, and I haven't enjoyed any Transformers series since. I tried, with the exception of Earthspark, but they don't resonate with me. Yet my number 5 comes from one of those latter series. That would be Robots in Disguise Warrior Class Bumblebee. A different spin on the muscle car Bumblebee, RID Bumblebee has a more defined heroic look to him, fitting his position as the series lead. The vehicle mode has a more modernised look to it than prior muscle car Bumblebees, and as I've said earlier, I like the idea of the muscle car being used to show character growth. The vehicle mode just oozes cool and is a great design. Then we get to the robot mode. The robot takes a lot of cues from Hot Rod, and given my perspectives on that character, I love Bumblebee incorporating aspects of him into his design. Shoulders, shins, even the chest and the face a bit, all have subtle nods to Hot Rod, and that makes me appreciate the design a lot more than I otherwise would. Plus, I really enjoyed the toy. Of all the post-2007 cartoon Bumblebee depictions, I think Robots in Disguise probably got it the best, even if I found the show dull. When I said about making this list, I didn't foresee not only picking 2 toys from the movie Studio series, but one of them getting so high. However, when I sat down and really thought about it, not only is this the best depiction of this alt mode, but a toy that does all you'd want it to do in a very affordable package. My number 3 pick is Studio Series Bumblebee. Bumblebee. Studio Series Bumblebee just packs so much into such a small package. Yeah, here's another small toy, but you get a battle mask head, you get a sword, you get a gun, he's got great articulation, and a really nice head sculpt. The greys break up the yellow really well, and as he is in the film, it's a really pleasing robot mode. He's more than a bit fiddly to transform, part and parcel of the movie Studio series, but this toy has the best realistic Beetle alt mode they've ever done at mass retail. I've alluded to War for Cybertron Bumblebee earlier, but that toy's front section looks too long. This Bumblebee, on the other hand, looks absolutely perfect. As far as movie Bumblebees go, easily my favourite. For number 3, we have a toy I know I will never own due to the price, because, oh boy, those BotCon prices. But I love the base mold for this toy, and I love the idea of this retool. That would be Shattered Glass Goldbug. Cybertron Hotshot is easily my favourite toy from the Cybertron line. Hotshot is just a great design that takes a lot from G1 Hot Rod while doing a lot of new things along the way. It manages to feel both new and old at the same time in a beautiful blend. I think in some ways the Excellion Redeco ends up as a better Classics Hot Rod than even Classics Hot Rod. Then BotCon takes that Hotshot toy, gives it a new Goldbug head and a deco inspired by Stealth Bumblebee from the 2007 toy line. It just works so well. The black with yellow has always worked well. The chest painted, waist and shins having deco hits to hammer home the hot rod inspiration of the mold. It pops, it's memorable, it works. Then you get to the vehicle mode having a lot of curves and rounded edges. It feels so much in line with the original Beetle design. Goldbug wears this mold like it was meant for him. It's a fantastic redeco that doesn't get enough love. While I'm not overly keen on the legacy toy, I hope we see this one again with the current Hotshot mold. On my community tab, I mentioned that this video would include a favourite childhood toy of mine, and that is G2 Bumblebee. It's the original 1984 toy, but receiving vacuum metallization to be a brilliant gold. All 4 of the G2 mini-bots received this treatment, and they are all beautiful little toys. I still have Bumblebee and Cliffjumper on my shelf. Faster Transform looks great in both modes. What's not to like? It's simple, but does enough to be fun, and is still fun all these years later. Sometimes arm swivel and a great look are all you need. It's just one of those toys you can pick up, transform, and have a fun time with, even if it's short. This toy is also a big reason why I preferred G1 Toy Bumblebee's head over the cartoon. I had way more exposure to the toy, so it really formed my perspective of the character. Did anyone else extend the legs to give Bumblebee a dragster mode? I did that a lot as a kid. So we get to number 1, and this is a toy I adored since I first got it. Even when I get Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, I know it won't top this one, Classics Bumblebee. Despite Euro G1, G2, and Beast Wars being my childhood, I'm a big fan of the Unicron trilogy and Classics. I've always appreciated how Classics reinterpreted G1, a 2006 take on the characters, rather than just being G1 with modern engineering like we have today. A cute little 2-door hatchback, I think that's a brilliant update for Bumblebee, and it's very much in line with what a lot of families own. It's a fictional model taking inspiration from many different cars, but it just comes together so well as something identifiable. Then you get to the robot mode and, yep, that's Bumblebee alright, that's G1 Bumblebee to a T. Probably the single most successful Bumblebee toy made in the modern era. It's not overly complicated, it's actually very straightforward, but everything ends up where it should, and it still looks perfect nearly 20 years later. Classics Bumblebee walks that line of something you want to collect as an adult and a genuine toy for children very well, something I can totally get behind. Oh, and it comes with a cool accessory too, a jet ski called the Wave Crusher that becomes a jetpack. There is not one thing about this toy to dislike. I never got a chance to pick up any of the redecos, but that's something I'd like to go back and rectify. Classics Bumblebee is a toy I'd put in my top 10 Transformers of all time. I just love it that much. It speaks to my sensibilities completely. So that's my list. I'm sure yours looks very different, but maybe today's video got you to look at an older toy in a different light, or see potential in other takes of the character. Tell me your favourite Bumblebee toys in the comments, and if you'd like more top 10 videos like this one, tell me that too. If you enjoyed today's video and want more Transformers content, be sure to like and subscribe, it helps out a lot. Till next time friends, this has been Eric from Toys Down Under, and thanks for watching.